Right, this is me MT07. Today I'm going to be installing a full titanium Attribution, and I've been wanting to hear the sound of one of these in person for so long. I must have watched every single video on YouTube about the MT07 with an Attribution. Right, so I'm going to start by taking off the old standard exhaust, this big heavy thing. But the first thing you want to do is remove the footrest out of the way, just so you can get to the bolts which behind it. But all you need to do is undo these two bolts, this one and this one, and you just need a 6mm Allen key. So what I'm going to do, just so this thing isn't just swinging about in the way, I'm actually going to take a zip tie and just zip tie it up out the way for now. So now that's out the way, what we're going to do next is take off these two bolts. Then that way you can remove this piece here. It makes it a lot easier to get the O2 sensor off, to be able to see better in a minute. So these two bolts are actually 5mm Allen, whereas the other two were 6s. So now you can see the O2 sensor a bit better. What you want to do now is, instead of just unscrewing it while it's still plugged in up here, you want to follow the wire up, like so. Find where the plug goes. Don't know whether you can see it, but this is the O2 sensor wire, and it goes to this plug here. So we're going to disconnect that now. This will make it easier to not cause damage. When we're twisting on this, if we leave it plugged in, that wire is going to be twisting all the way up to this connection. And just to avoid any damage, we're just going to unplug this before we unscrew it. You can bend these little plastic tabs back, don't worry about it. You can, once you replug it in, you can just bend them back to how they were. Another one up here. And here we've got one of these little reusable clips. Pop that off for now. Put it to one side so you don't lose it. You can see it just clips together like so. Easy enough. Stick that to one side for now. Actually, looks like it's probably about a 16mm, but I've only actually got a 17mm spanner. But now the O2 sensor is actually connected, we can actually get the spanner over the wire. We shouldn't have any problems. Nice and easy. Don't twist this. Probably best to lift the wire up, let it twist as it goes, again to avoid any damage. And that's it, don't drop it like I did. So you can see on the one header here, so you can see on the headers here, there's two headers obviously, and on each one you've got these two 12mm nuts. So you've got to take these off, but take great care not to round them, because you do actually reuse these factory nuts for the new exhaust, unless you've already bought new ones. But can't really get this on camera, so I'm just going to whip them off and move on to the next bit. So now the last thing we've got to do to get the stock exhaust off, after we've got the headers off, is take this bolt here, take this out. There's actually one on the other side, but I'm not sure whether they spin independently or whether I'll have to hold the other one at the back with a spanner while I unloosen this one, but we'll see how we get on. I believe these are probably 12mm bolts. Yeah, so we'll whip them off. Yeah, I've got my finger in here now, and they've actually got a bolt on each side, so you do have to take each one out. So we've actually completely loosened the bolt on the other side, but I haven't took it out just yet because that bolt is the only thing holding that exhaust in place right now. So I'm gonna wedge my feet underneath the exhaust so it doesn't fall anywhere and scratch anything. And I'm gonna take the bolt out by hand from the back. You see the exhaust is wobbling around. So here's the screw. Now we should be able to remove the exhaust with no issues. Here it comes. Absolutely massive. It's a joke really, innit? From the side, it looks like it's some nice clean pipe, but it's hiding this big back box, and it really does have some weight to it. So as I was saying before my battery died, which is a big problem with GoPros, these 4 bolts in here are actually for the bracket, which you've got to mount on top of the exhaust. This is so you can attach it to the stock bracket, and you get a little tube of this with a bolt sealants. So 1, 2, 3, 4, should do it. So I don't know how well you can see that, but there's absolutely no chance. It's definitely going to be needing that adapter. So another thing that comes with this is this anti-seize copper grease, which is going to apply, as you can see here in the picture. It tells you to put a little bit, just a little bit, on the inside of these threads here. I'll do that now. So 22. Yeah, the one. And get the big boy ratchet out. You don't want to do this too tight because you don't want to strip the threads on your exhaust. So just to a reasonable amount. Again, you don't need to go mad in tightening this. Just a reasonable amount, not too much that you're going to strip the threads. That should do it. Right, so the exhaust itself, the back box is ready and the headers are ready. What we've got to do now is install it. But when you're installing the exhaust, you should always use new exhaust gaskets, which are the ones that sit in the engine. I'm not going to take them out because they're nice and seated, but my bike's only got 1,000 miles on. You should still definitely use a new exhaust gasket, but I'm impatient. I can't wait to hear the sound of my exhaust, so I'm just going to see what happens and see if we get any leaks. But I'm actually using the old stock factory exhaust gasket, so don't be like me. So now we're actually ready to install the new titanium headers. Look at that, so clean. So I'm going to stick these on and then almost ready to hear what it sounds like. I cannot wait. The headers are actually installed. It's looking a lot better already. So what I'm actually going to try and do is get an old piece of wire, stick it through here and pull it back, as you'll see in a minute. So it's an old indicator. Try and do this the cowboy way. Look at that, perfect. So now I'm actually going to have to take all of this back off anyway, because I thought that you could just literally undo the screw at the back and just slide this out, but I'm actually going to have to take it all off, get something inside the pipe and hit it from behind, because it's a really tight fit in there. So what I'm going to try and do now is go in from behind, somehow get an angle on the back of this. Don't know what I'm going to hit it with yet, but this is probably the only way I'm going to be able to do this without causing any more damage. Right, so hit a bit of a brick wall there, but this is my solution. Big long metal bar, smack the end of it with a hammer to flatten it out so it'll fit down the gap. So what I've got to do is hit the DB killer from behind. Not see that pipe in the middle, you don't want to be hitting that below that, and it needs to be thin to get around that bar without damaging it. So hopefully this will do the trick. Right, so here it is, finally got it. I make mistakes and do damage so you don't have to. The fucking state of that. Now we've got a nice full flow open pipe, no decibel killer, which is what we want. What I ended up using is this. Sausage gun. This was in the sausage gun. Took this out. And what I've ended up doing, sticking this big thing down there, smacking this from behind with a mallet. That's the only way I've managed to do it. So the DB killer is now removed. Finally, time to go and do a little sound check. Right, so I'm actually now going to go and see what it sounds like for the first time. My neighbours are going to fucking hate me. Swear down, that's well louder than I thought it'd be. Sounds fucking naughty. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh mate, it sounds a lot better in person than what I imagined, you know. Eesh. Animal, mate. Popping because it's running a bit lean, but tomorrow I'm going to pick up my flat tune kit and remap it, so it won't sound like that anymore.